listening to Ring Chronicles with Lance Vaughn and Glenn Ritchie.
All right, man, we are back on episode 20. How's it going?
All right, how about you?
Not bad.
Speaking of camera, we were having discussions about the camera.
Yeah.
Does the YouTube channel have it taped the whole way through, or is it just audio?
Just audio.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it just YouTube picks up the podcast just like Spotify does.
So the audio is just for shorts and things like that. That's
the video?
The video.
Yeah. I just use that for the shorts and TikTok.
Well, howdy there. In case this makes the cut. For a short.
Yeah. So speaking of TikTok, I figured I would bring this up.
Is it a lariat of hate?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Actually, I'm not totally sure we have any, but we'll look. But we had two videos this week on TikTok that had over 2,000 views.
Oh, wow.
So one was the clip where you were talking about how over the Von Erichs were and the women fawning over them and everything.
Yeah.
And then the other one was on actually I forget. Why don't I play it? Because I forget what it was about.
There were some anachronistic things like tap outs. They didn't tap out back in the 80s. They
said,
I quit.
You were talking about
Kevin
kayfabe.
was telling his,
how they were keeping kayfabe and stuff like that.
You know, on their first other things.
Yeah, so that one had 2,000 as of now, 2,592 views. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened. You know, like.
Yeah.
Your dad's opened the door for somebody that was threatening to kill him last week on TV.
Yeah.
And they go have a beer together.
Yeah.
Yep. I use as an example of the Iron Sheik because back then he was he was one of the most hated guys you could possibly have.
Yeah.
And the Iron Sheik's just he was just a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I missed the guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But back in the 80s,
yep,
he was really hated. Or you got to think about Sergeant Slaughter when he turned against America.
Yeah.
And was an Iraqi sympathizer. The amount of hate that guy got because people thought it was real back then. It was a big deal.
Yep. All right, so I guess I'll go over a little bit of lariat of hate.
We got to hit the button first.
I'm getting there.
This is the lariat of hate.
All right, so on the video about the Von Erichs being over, somebody said, "Pointless video, thanks." And I think that's the only one we had, actually. What was weird was that we had all these views, but we didn't have as many comments. Yeah, that's about all we had. A lot of views, a lot of likes, little comments. I need to find a way to fix that.
Yeah.
So anyway, do we have any errors or omissions?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any.
Although technically, I just thought about one. To my knowledge, at least not in wrestling, the Iron Sheik never said anything about Allah. He just spoke about Iran.
Right.
If he spoke about Allah, it was more him being, a shoot comment about him being a Muslim.
Right.
Because, he was a Muslim person, in real life.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how adherent he was, given, the cocaine and stuff. From my understanding, that's not part of Islam, to use cocaine, but, maybe the Iron Sheik had a different interpretation of things.
There's I came speaking of cocaine in the 80s. I came across a video. I can probably play it here in a second. It was it's an old promo of Hogan and Savage, and you could just tell they're just doped up. Hold on, I'll play it here in a second. The video was saying this is what happens when you and your buddy are on pre-workout, and I'm like, that's not pre-workout, that's cocaine.
Yeah. Well, speaking of not necessarily following your religion, Hulk Hogan was going around saying, say your prayers and eat your vitamins, wearing a big gold cross around his neck, and then he was getting doped up on roids and other things.
Here we go.
I realized there was a whole other universe out there, a whole other frontier, and the power of the madness and the mania just blew my 24-inch guns out. I'm just worried about where we're going from here. Is it the stratosphere, man? Is it the ionosphere? Yeah, the mega power. Yeah, mega power. Yeah, we really don't know what we're dealing with here, man. I'm shocked right now. I don't think the movie for a long period of time. I'm worried about walking up here because we just might blow the whole planet up, I'm all right. They've never been better, yeah. With the madness and the mania as one guiding force, we could go ahead and take the whole
The mega powers, the madness, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the
Okay. They might have been doped up for that.
Yeah.
But I would pay to see a promo like that these days.
Yes.
We might blow the whole planet up.
You see, that's another great promo from the 80s, like we showed last
Yeah,
week.
I mean, it was all good.
I just had an idea. I think every week we do promos from the 80s.
Okay.
We're going to show great promos from the 80s.
That sounds like a good idea to me. We'll have to find a good promo every week.
Yeah, every week. So I got to come up with a new intro, kind of like our Larry to Take one. And so
Larry
we'll
to
have
Hate, This will be the I don't know. I don't know what we'll call that segment. But we'll figure it out.
We'll come up with something. But damn, that's 80s promos are gold.
Of course, you got the Hard Times Dusty Rhodes promo.
Yeah.
Any Ric Flair promo.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. And I come across Ric Flair promos like multiple times every day. So
yeah. Any Randy Savage promo.
Yeah.
Any Hulk Hogan promo.
Yeah.
Of course, any Dusty Rhodes promo is going to be great.
Yep.
Harley Race.
Yeah.
I mean, just Roddy Piper.
Yeah, absolutely.
You bring out any Roddy
Absolutely.
Piper promo, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy could talk. It's just Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
Road Warriors.
Yeah.
Their promos were awesome.
Cocaine fueled promos.
I wouldn't call them awesome, but the Ultimate Warrior promos are entertaining.
God damn, yes.
I wouldn't say they're good.
Yeah.
And then you also had like promos that weren't all like, coked up, but were good, like Ricky Steamboat doing promos.
Yes.
I mean, he did some great stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, you talked about last week with David Von Erich and his promos. Those have been excellent. Jerry Lawler, Jerry the King Lawler. I mean, gosh, anybody back then. The Road Warrior promos really just come to mind. They had some amazing promos.
Yeah,
and I mean, gosh, we'll have to find some. We got plenty to choose from.
There's a plethora of shit out there. Well,
yeah.
I don't think it'll be too. We're probably gonna have more problems choosing which one we're gonna do.
Yeah,
because we're gonna find a ton of them every week.
Probably my favorite '80s promo would have to be the Hard Times promo.
Yeah.
And then that's followed by the Macho Man's what is it? A cup of
the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And he keeps pulling out little creamers.
Yeah, the creamer. Yeah. I don't even know what that was about, but it was a great promo.
Yeah.
You know, it was just amazing. And Gene Okerlund is just, he's just there, doing it and everything.
Yeah.
And if we ever get tired of doing 80s promos, we could always move to the 90s promos.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll come across one where we're like, okay, we're going to take a break from the 80s because we have to show this amazing 90s promo.
Yeah, which when it comes to 90s promos, you have like The Rock.
Yep.
You also have the infamous Booker T, I'm coming for you, Hogan.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about.
With the word that we can't say.
Yeah, that one. And he instantly regrets it.
Yeah.
That was the funny part.
That's a promo that you have to watch the video of. You couldn't just listen to the audio.
That's true. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. The audio doesn't really sell that promo.
I mean, you'd have to see Sherry's face.
Yeah.
How Gene Okerlund no sells the whole thing.
Yes.
Stevie Ray no sells the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like, and Sherry's face. She's trying not to sell it, but you can see it that she had a reaction like, you know, hold on.
Yes.
You know, she knew it wasn't good. That's some good stuff. But yeah, we'll start with the 80s and go from there.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea
with the promos. All right, so we have several ideas for topics. You know, a lot of people have been rating the Mount Rushmore of wrestling lately. There's also the current topic right now where, well, first of all, I want to point out an interesting tidbit that I saw on social media.
Okay.
Right now, wrestling is dominated by Samoan guys named Joe.
I saw that, yes.
We have Roman Reigns, whose name is Joe.
Yes.
Dominating the WWE. And then we have Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Dominating AEW. And, you know, that was kind of bleeding into another topic that I had thought about too, was guys that never got their time. Until now, Samoa Joe was one of those guys.
Yes.
He could have been in the main event of the WWE.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vince McMahon didn't know what to do with him.
I saw a clip where he was doing like one of those pre-shows with Michael Cole in the rain at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Like they were both wearing like raincoats, doing the pre-show, like standing by the ring. And I'm like, you got Samoa Joe, doing a pre-show, really?
Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, again, I could go on and on about the shit, but that's WWE having great talent and not doing anything with it. They have a long history of that. Long history.
So what's going on right now is, as there's a meme that kind of explains this.
Yeah.
Every 10 years, the prophecy says that The Rock will return and take the slot in WrestleMania of someone who's worked hard to deserve it all year.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
and this year it's Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
he's the victim of The Rock.
If it happens, okay.
Yeah.
So at the Royal Rumble, we got a pretty good match coming up. Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Okay.
Okay, so there's a 4-way match for the title at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Okay.
First time the title's been defended in months.
Mm-hmm.
There's one guy in that match that hasn't had his time, and that's LA Knight.
That's right.
Now, as much as I love AJ Styles, he's one of my favorite wrestlers, and as much as I'd love to see him win the belt and dethrone Roman, he doesn't deserve as much as LA Knight does.
And he's had the belt before, right?
Yeah, he's held the WWE title twice.
Okay.
Then, of course, Randy Orton, I believe, is a 14-time champion.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the belt.
Right.
You know? Roman Reigns doesn't need the belt, but they're probably going to keep the belt on him. That's the only thing I can think of is they're probably going to keep the belt on him because they're going to have him having the belt at freaking WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And if our worst dreams come true, they're going to have him fight against The Rock.
Yeah.
And I hope that they don't do that.
Yeah, me too.
Like, okay, I love The Rock. I love the Attitude Era and all that. Although I don't love it as much as most people, per my rant about it.
Yep.
I love The Rock. He's great. He's awesome. I know he's a draw, but please, like, just do like Stone Cold Steve Austin did. And Stone Cold Steve Austin came back for a match, fought against Kevin Owens. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Give somebody their time to shine and fighting against you in the match.
Right.
That otherwise might not be on the card.
Right.
That would be great for him to do. But if he's going for the title at WrestleMania, I understand that's a dream match, Roman Reigns versus The Rock. You can do that at Elimination Chamber. I don't know if they're doing Fastlane this year, but you can do it at Fastlane.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you could do it on Raw. I don't give a fuck. Just don't do it at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind him facing Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns didn't have the belt. That's the problem. The belt is the problem. Because if Roman Reigns has the belt, even whether it's a title match or a non-title match, you're taking that opportunity away from somebody.
Yeah, there's somebody that's losing.
Yeah, right.
Which,
right.
if it winds up being The Rock versus Roman Reigns, the person that loses the most is Cody Rhodes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, he didn't win the belt last year.
Yeah.
He should have won the belt last year. The Roman Reigns, okay, the legendary record-breaking reign of Roman Reigns is so bloated and overrated. He defends the belt every few months, and you're comparing him to guys like Hogan and Bruno Sammartino. Now, I understand later in life, Hogan didn't defend the belt all the time, but in the 80s, he defended the belt all the time. Bruno Sammartino defended the belt all the time. Pedro Morales defended the belt all the time. Bob Backlund defended the belt all the time. And you're going to have Roman Reigns hold the belt for another year for no good reason, for him to defend it 2 or 3 times, and then fight against The Rock at WrestleMania.
Right.
That's going to be the payoff of all this.
Right. Look, I understand that Roman Reigns has been battling leukemia and stuff, and that probably has something to do with it. But don't hold the belt hostage. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand that that's a terrible thing, but why are you keeping the belt on him?
Yeah.
I mean, do they really think that they're going to lose money or something by giving the belt to somebody else? I mean, is Roman Reigns that big of a draw as champion? I mean, I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't know.
He might be, because if we look at that, we go back to say 2016 WWE. It was like the AEW is now as far as crowd attendance. You know, they had to block off the hard cam side.
Right.
It was very embarrassing.
Right.
Okay. Roman Reigns has this historic reign, but the reign has part to do with it, but the other part was the bloodline angle. Okay. Well, the bloodline angle is cooling off. And now's the time for him to lose the belt. At least at WrestleMania, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay. And he needs to lose it against Cody.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Who can carry the company better than, as good as well as Roman Reigns right now? Who's the best one in line to do it? I'm a huge LA Knight fan,
right.
But even I would still say Cody Rhodes over LA Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you everybody has their place in line, and it's Cody, and then I think it's LA Knight, and you could have Cody at LA Knight at WrestleMania next year. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
I mean, the dude wrestled a Hell in a Cell match with a torn pec.
Torn pec. Yeah.
and I know the Dave Meltzer star rating doesn't matter that much, but it was a 5-star match, and it was one of the times I actually agreed with Uncle Dave.
Right.
I mean, when I watched that match, okay, to be honest with you, I wasn't really that big on Cody, even when he came back to the WWE.
Okay.
I was like, okay, he's I felt like he should have turned heel in the AEW. And I felt like him coming to the WWE was him being so stubborn about being a face that he went to the WWE where it would be easier for him to get over as a face. Which is still, I think, true.
Yeah.
Okay. But he has a torn pec, and he goes to Hell in the Cell, and he takes his jacket off, and all you see is like
a big bruise.
The biggest bruise I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
The biggest bruise I've ever seen in life. And you could hear the crowd like
Gasp.
gasp.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the crowd gasp like they did in that Hell in the Cell match? Not in my whole life. And I've watched wrestling for over 30 years. Okay. I cannot think of a time that I've seen the crowd gasp like they did when they saw Cody Rhodes' injury. I mean, all that was all on purpose for him to just take his jacket off and just, nobody knew how bad it was. And we knew he was injured, but my goodness, we had no idea it was that bad.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure that injury limited him, and he was also putting himself at more risk.
Mm-hmm.
And Seth Rollins did not go easy on him at all. It was a Hell in the Cell match.
Well, yeah.
It was like they fought like they were really trying to kill each other in that match. And that was another thing I thought was going to happen when I saw that match. I said Seth Rollins is going to go easy on him because he's injured. That didn't happen. He didn't go easy on him at all. Or if he did, I couldn't tell. Like I said, it looked like they were trying to murder each other, even though Cody Rhodes was severely injured. And so then we had to wait for him to come back because he had to have surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had to wait for him to come back. So that just made you want to see him even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back, and then he wins the Royal Rumble. He goes against Roman Reigns. You think this is it. Roman Reigns is going to lose the belt. This is the story of him, finishing the story. And then he loses. Okay? Yeah. And I could not wrap my head around why did Cody Rhodes lose. I honestly thought it was just Vince McMahon still hating the Rhodes from his grudge going back to the 80s. And I was like, well, what else are they going to do to Cody Rhodes now? Are they going to make him wear polka dots? I mean, is he going to go out in drag?
A quick note, speaking of the polka dots, there was a fan front row at Dynamite this week wearing the polka dot getup of Dusty Rhodes.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that.
So Dusty Rhodes, not Dusty Rhodes, Cody Rhodes lost the match, and he had a great feud with Brock Lesnar that helped push Cody Rhodes to the next level. I love LA Knight, but LA Knight hasn't had a big feud like that yet, where he won a feud with Brock Lesnar.
Right.
He still has. I still think they need to give him a mid-card title. Intercontinental, United States, something like that. He's cooling off too quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to give him a title, and they're screwing it up. They're screwing up LA Knight right now terribly. They're screwing it up because the iron was hot. You didn't have him beat Roman Reigns, which we saw that coming. But after he had his first loss on this hot streak, you have him go for one of the other main titles. You have him go for United States or Intercontinental. So have him beat Gunther. I mean,
so are they? So after that match with Roman, have they slowly been moving him away from the main event picture? Or have they kept him in the picture?
Well, I mean, he's still in the picture because he's at the main event or one of the main events.
Yeah, right. At
Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the main event at Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble for the men and the women.
Yeah.
But he's fighting again in a match with Roman Reigns and AJ Styles and who was the other person? AJ Styles, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, yeah.
Yeah, so fatal 4-way match for the undisputed WWE Intergalactic Universal Championship.
By the way, have they gotten rid of the other belts that's supposed to represent the one belt?
I
haven't seen it in a while.
I haven't seen those other belts.
Yeah.
I've only seen the one belt.
Yeah.
Lately. It's been a while since I've seen those belts, so I guess those are gone now.
Yeah, but yeah, I totally agree. The everything should be focused on Cody and LA Knight right now. And it's not.
I love Gunther, but it's time for him to drop the belt. I mean, he's already got the record now for the IC belt.
Right.
Have him, I don't know. LA Knight's on SmackDown, so I guess he'd have to cross over. He could beat. Have LA Knight beat Logan Paul at say WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Win the United States belt. I think that'd be a great way to. Have him have a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be great.
Or
great.
just say screw it and have LA Knight fight against The Rock at WrestleMania.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
And win.
I mean, everybody would know who LA Knight is at that point if they don't already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
have LA Knight fight against The Rock at WrestleMania and have him win.
Yeah.
Because I don't need The Rock to win anymore.
Right.
I need him to lose.
The Rock doesn't need anything.
He doesn't need anything.
This is just like the only way I could see him winning is against Roman Reigns because he would be the face, but Roman Reigns has the belt, and that can't happen. The Rock does not need the fucking belt. That's the worst possible outcome of this. Is The Rock winning the belt from Roman Reigns. That is the absolute worst outcome.
That is the worst that could happen.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that. That depresses me to even think about it.
I know.
Look, compare the Rock to John Cena. Mm-hmm. John Cena, who hasn't won a match in 5 years or something, like in a singles match.
Yeah.
Okay. As much as I hated John Cena in the past, that dude is paying his dues back.
Yeah.
For all the unbeatable unstoppableness that he once had. He's giving back.
You know what would be great? If John Cena came out, so say The Rock was in the ring cutting a promo on Roman Reigns or something like that, and John Cena came out and called him out on what he's doing.
That would be cool.
That would be great.
Okay, that could actually be another match.
John
Cena's retirement match against The Rock.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Why not?
I mean,
I'd rather see him lose against a new person.
A
retirement match.
Right. Yeah. Like Angle did, because Angle jobbed to
Baron Corbin.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was my only disappointment about Edge. His last match at WWE, he won. Mm-hmm. He could have lost. Mm-hmm. Give back, but
yeah.
Edge did give back in his second run in WWE. He didn't win any major titles or anything. He got people over, so I wasn't too upset about that. But I don't know. Like, if you want to look at how to retire, like the classic best retirement match, even though it didn't wind up being a retirement match, and the guy's probably still itching to get in the ring right now, is Ric Flair's retirement match against Shawn Michaels. That was the best retirement match in all of wrestling history.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ric Flair screwed it up by getting back in the ring.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the WrestleMania match against Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Ric Flair's last match that happened last year, and he went unconscious 3 times.
Yeah.
And they had to check, make sure his heart monitor was still working.
Yeah.
all that, as much as I love Ric Flair, that man has no business being in the ring. But there's also a part of me that says, you know what, let the man just die in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let him have his wish.
Yeah.
I let him, if that's what he wants, just give it to him.
Yeah.
Just give it to him. He said that's what he wants to do. He wants to die in the ring.
Yeah.
And so let him do it.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, he's not like incompetent or anything.
Right.
He can make his own decisions. If he wants to die in the ring, let him die in the ring.
Right.
I mean, we don't go back in time and tell the Vikings that, oh, you can't die in battle and go to Valhalla.
Right.
So, I mean,
that's the equivalent.
Yeah.
That's like the modern day. Yeah.
Yeah, Ric Flair dying in the ring is the modern equivalent of like Vikings dying and going to Valhalla with their axe in their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know how accurate this was, but like playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like if a character was dying, like they would ask their opponent to like literally like give them their axe, so they could actually have the axe in their hand when they die.
Yeah,
that's Ric Flair. He wants to be dying in the ring, and he just wants to yell, "Pin me!"
Yeah,
like pin me before I die.
Yeah,
so he can go to like Wrestling Valhalla. That's what Ric Flair wants.
Yeah.
But that was a great retirement match. That's a great model of how to do a retirement match. The Undertaker's match was also a great retirement match. He did win the match, however, but I was okay with that. Just because the match was done really well. I mean, it was just a great match.
Was that the AJ Styles
against AJ Styles?
Okay, yeah.
I showed you that match.
Yeah.
That. Well, the reason why I was okay with the Undertaker winning that match was his last few matches looked terrible.
Yeah.
And because of the cinematic nature of that match, they were able to make the Undertaker look good one last time.
Absolutely.
And that I was okay with that, because I think that was the whole point of it, was let's let the Undertaker look good one last time. Yeah. And that's what they did. The Rock doesn't need anything though. He just needs to show up at WrestleMania, fight some opponent that wouldn't otherwise be on the card. Yeah. Help get that person over, and then disappear for 10 more years.
Yeah. I mean, look, I understand the reasoning for his presence. He will bring eyes to the product. Yeah. He's the biggest star in anything right now. Yeah. Right? So yeah, of course he's going to bring people there, but he doesn't need a match to win anything. He doesn't need a match against the world champion. I mean, shit, if he just shows up and just talks, kind of like, remember, I can't remember which WrestleMania it was, but remember when it was kicked off with Hogan, Rock, and Steve Austin? Yeah. Yeah, something like that, whatever.
So that's pretty much our thoughts on The Rock.
Yeah, don't beat anybody or don't take anybody's spot.
Yeah, just go there and draw money.
Yeah.
And then go away again.
Yeah. Just go do your football league and your movies, and it's great.
Yeah. I mean, no. We don't want none of this. We do not want him in the main event.
Yeah.
Go away. Do your thing and then go away. Yeah. But just don't win any belts. Don't steal anybody's spot. Just get people over and make money and just focus on that, and don't do anything else. All right. Anything else about The Rock stealing people's spots?
I don't know. I just think it would just be anybody that knows anything, for those people, this would be such a bad look for The Rock if he did something like that.
What if he gets booed?
Like if he wins or
yeah,
I could see that. Although it's the WWE crowd, so
that is the problem. The WWE crowd is kind of.
If it was like an AEW crowd, yeah, he would get slaughtered by the crowd.
Yeah. I will admit that. Actually, there's even statistics on it. The AEW crowd is more educated.
I saw that
than the WWE crowd.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I think the reason why is WWE appeals to a wider
Yeah.
base.
Yeah.
And I think that's good for wrestling, though. Wrestling should appeal to a wider base.
Yeah.
Wrestling has historically been a working class sport.
Yeah.
Historically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, anybody that knows me about my origins, I grew up in a trailer park. My dad was a janitor / maintenance guy. I come from that working class environment, even though now I have a master's degree. So I've seen both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And, I grew up in this working class environment where this is before everything. I mean, I heard rumors that wrestling was rigged, but the working class environment I in, nobody, people would fight over that subject.
Yeah.
That was fighting words.
Yeah.
To call wrestling fake. And people took it very personal, very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the environment I grew in, was this working class environment. And so that was the historical environment for professional wrestling. I'm not exactly sure why AEW fans are more educated. I mean, I know they are in the wrestling term, they're a smarter fan base, but I don't know. Also, I mean, there's probably less children that watch wrestling, in AEW wrestling. So I don't know, but it does draw a different crowd than the WWE does. And
It's probably also an older crowd.
It is.
Because you probably got a lot of people from the ECW and Attitude Era days that have turned over to AEW.
Because it's an edgier product.
Right. So, yeah, it's probably an older crowd, and therefore people have been educated in that time between the Attitude Era and now.
Yeah, they've got their master's degrees.
Right.
I mean, technically, even though I consider myself a WWE fan more than AEW fan, technically when I watch AEW, I contribute to that higher educated pool of fans.
Right.
Right. And, maybe people that, haven't, your average fan base is less likely to cross over like that, you know? So I don't know.
Tony Khan actually he didn't touch on that exactly, but he did say this was after the pay-per-view at the media scrum. But he was talking about how it's a different product. AEW is a different product from, WWE or just a traditional wrestling show, I guess. But he was saying that AEW is, in his words, he called it punk rock as opposed to something mainstream.
I'm not sure I understand that comparison. Is that the alternative lifestyle that I've talked about?
You could definitely look at it that way. Think of it, the way I took it is this. WWE is like mainstream music. Taylor Swift.
Okay.
AEW.
I'm insulted by that, but yes.
No, but it's accurate. There's more people in the world listening to Taylor Swift than Cannibal Corpse.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And AEW is Cannibal Corpse because that's death metal. That's not punk rock. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's more niche.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah. Maybe a better one that I would tolerate is WWE's like Metallica, and AEW is like some basement Nordic.
You could say that WWE is
band.
Metallica and AEW is Slayer.
Okay.
Okay. So, look, same genre,
Yeah.
same subgenre, but one's a lot bigger than the other.
Yeah.
Also, one's a lot better than the mainstream one. I'm not saying AEW is better, although it's what I prefer. But anyway,
well, our friend Tony,
Yeah.
not Big Tony that I need to get. Still need to ask if he wants to be on the show
Yeah.
one day. But little Tony,
Yeah. Yeah.
who still has all his hair,
Yeah.
despite being nearly 40,
Yeah. Fuck that
and
guy.
hardly any gray. Little Tony,
Yeah.
he brought up that I'm more of like a traditional wrestling fan.
Okay.
You know, I like the traditional wrestling.
Is that bad though?
I think it's just different.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't like the AEW stuff, the silliness, you know,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
like, it's a different, like what Tony Khan said, it is a different product.
I could go on a little bit about that because AEW has pulled back a lot on what I would call indie wrestling. When it first started, you know, you had a bunch of guys come in that were straight out of the indies, right? There's a lot of those gimmicks that just aren't there anymore, or those wrestlers have taken their gimmick and made it more mainstream, I guess. For instance, Chris Statlander is no longer an alien from the Andromeda Galaxy. She's Chris Statlander from Long Island, New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That alien stuff definitely was some indie stuff.
Like very indie stuff, and you're definitely seeing less of that now. But again, I could go on about this, but I like the way their stories are going lately. I'd say over the last month, I think they've done a great job with it.
Do you think they're pulling themselves out of the hole?
I think they're going in the right direction.
I definitely like the fact that they gave. I didn't believe they would do it. That they, you know, gave Samoa Joe the strap.
Yeah. From what I was reading now, I think it definitely makes sense right now because MJF is pretty beat up and he needs to rest. He has a lot of injuries. He has a torn labrum in his shoulder, and he's been working with that.
Yeah.
So he definitely needs to rest. But apparently, even before that, the plan was to give Samoa Joe the strap at the pay-per-view.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think they're headed in the right direction. I don't know if you saw, but they did reveal that it was Adam Cole that was the devil.
Yeah.
And a lot of people bitched about that like it was so obvious, but it's what made sense.
Yeah.
Who else could have been the devil that would have made any damn sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was obvious, but it made sense. And Adam Cole's a heel again.
Okay.
So
that's just a classic wrestling storyline. Your best friend's your enemy.
Right.
I saw a meme, and it had Hulk Hogan being betrayed by Macho Man Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, Tugboat, and I can't remember who else it was. Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it says, if all your friends are betraying you, maybe you're the problem.
Yeah.
You know, that is just wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That is just a wrestling. I mean, that's just a basic wrestling storyline. Like, I honestly, as much as I criticize AEW,
yeah.
that didn't bother me.
Right, yeah, it didn't bother me either. I mean, yeah, I guess it could have been more exciting, but it wouldn't have made any sense. If they had done anybody else, it would have been more exciting for that one single moment. And then it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense, though. You know what I mean? And who they brought in? So basically, they've resurrected the Kingdom.
Yeah,
is what they've done with this. So yeah, and when MJF comes back, that and he'll give Adam Cole time to heal up so he can wrestle again because he has the ankle thing injury.
Yeah,
and then they could have a match at whatever pay-per-view or whatever. I mean, it's
right,
and that should be a good match.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think AEW is going in the right direction, and there's some other stories they're doing. Holy shit! Did you watch any of the media scrum after the Tony Storm's appearance at the media scrum was fucking gold?
What happened?
Like, I was like, she has to be drunk. She stayed. She maintained kayfabe through the entire thing.
Oh my god!
It was fucking wonderful. She she walks in, and Tony Khan's always there, so she walks in, and she goes, "Bring it in, boss man," and hugs him and everything.
Oh my God!
And she was wearing like this, I don't know what you call it, but she was wearing this fur hat that you see like celebrities wear, and these big sunglasses.
Oh
and
my
God!
God!
And she took them off and put them on Tony. So Tony was sitting there with this big fuzzy hat on and sunglasses the whole time, and
that's great.
and she called out. Hang on, I'm gonna look this up, but somebody asked her in the scrum. I want to say the question was about free agents, and they were asking her if any free agents were going to come in that she would like to face, or something like that. And she brought up somebody from like the 80s.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God!
Hold on, let me see if I can find the clip and I'll play it, because we do that now on this show. We play clips.
Yeah, we do.
She called out Wendy Richter.
Are you serious?
You ready?
Are you serious?
You ready?
Oh my!
I'll play this.
God. So just for those that maybe wonder who Wendy Richter is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I spoke on her on the episode we did on women's wrestling, or one of the episodes we did on women's wrestling.
Go ahead.
And she was the victim of the first screw job.
Oh.
Yeah, where Moolah did a screw job match against her, and even though she was a much bigger star at the time, and probably it set back women's wrestling like decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Wendy Richter was the big star.
Yeah.
In the 80s in women's wrestling, so appropriate choice of someone to call out.
Okay, here it is. Here's that clip.
Free agent out there, isn't there? There's money written all over it. Wendy Richter. I'm gonna fuck you up.
That's amazing.
Well, you know what? That's good to know. I plan to be very.
I appreciate that. As somebody that's watched wrestling for a long time, I really appreciate. I love it. I love it when they reference anything from wrestling history.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so to reference Wendy Richter, I would love to see a response from Wendy Richter to
that
Tony.
Would be great.
Tony Storm's challenge.
Yes.
I would love to see a response from her. She's been retired for decades.
Yeah. I looked honestly, I didn't know who she was, but of course I looked her up afterwards. I know she's in her 60s now, which would make it even better.
Yeah. Well, I know who she is, but of course I would. I'm going to look it up and see if there's a Wendy Richter response. I doubt we're going to find anything, but it would be amazing. Okay, well, it does have Tony Storm's comments.
Yeah.
Calls out Wendy Richter, and oh my God. Yeah, that's just amazing.
The fact of the matter is that Tony Storm called out Wendy Richter and told her she was going to fuck her up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does not get any better than that at a media scrum. God damn.
Interesting choice of who to call out too.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of women from women's history you could have called out.
Yeah.
And, she called out one that may have been obscure to you, but to me, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Did she really just do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, she's still alive. This is a woman that's still alive. Even though she's, not in wrestling prime.
Now, Wendy Richter had to have loved that. No.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, there were people like you that don't remember her who looked her up.
Yeah.
Who's Wendy Richter?
Yep.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can't imagine that I didn't talk about her in the women's wrestling history podcast we did. Whenever I talked about the Fabulous Moolah, because she was one of the last people that got screwed by her.
Oh, okay.
So it was Wendy Richter was fighting against her. She was in a costume. She was the Spider Lady, but it was really the Fabulous Moolah.
Yeah,
and it was the worst. It was so obvious that she kicked out of 1, 2, 3, and the ref just counted her out anyways.
Holy shit!
Yeah, if you watch the tapes of it, give it a glance. I mean, it's so. It looks even worse than the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels screw job in Montreal.
Just more obvious.
It's more obvious.
Yeah.
Like it is so bad. It is so bad that any of the fans had to have been really confused by the whole thing if they were watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Tony Storm called out Wendy Richter. I mean, that's just great. I mean, that's just wonderful.
Anything else you want to talk about, Lance? I've got one more subject we could bring up.
What's that?
It's been going around a lot on social media. People are doing their Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Okay.
So, who would I put on my Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling? This is challenging because I haven't really honestly thought this through. I mean, there's an obvious choice. I'll talk about the obvious choices, okay? Obvious choice, Ric Flair. In my opinion, the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
The best. He was the greatest at everything. And just, I don't know. I mean, he had everything. As far as checking off all the boxes of what it means to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Ric Flair, top on all of them. Next, I would say Hulk Hogan. Okay. Simply due to the charisma and the draw he was, and the fact that he would have made it if he just was a face and stopped.
Yeah.
But then he turned heel.
Yeah.
And wrestling went back into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Okay. So he calls wrestling to go into the stratosphere twice.
Yeah. Yeah. He did.
Once with the 80s.
Yeah.
And then, which I don't think anybody understands how big Hulk Hogan was in the 80s. I remember hearing a story that people identified him quicker than they could identify the president of the United States.
Right.
Back in those times. You had the main event match against Andre the Giant that had like the ridiculous all-time highest rating of any wrestling event of all history.
Yeah.
Still to this day has not been beat. More eyes have seen Hulk Hogan than anybody else. I would dare say that historically, Hulk Hogan is even bigger than The Rock. Okay. I would have to put Lou Thez next.
Okay.
Just because he was basically the big star during the television era of professional wrestling and the longevity of his career. The only one that probably would go to like a close second to that spot would be Gorgeous George, just because of the contributions he did to wrestling gimmicks and things like that. But, you know, I had to give it to somebody, so I gave it to Lou Thez. And then the final spot I would have to give to you would think I would give it to The Rock, right?
You would think.
I'm going to give it to John Cena.
Okay.
John Cena, the reason why is I think there are wrestlers who carried wrestling during dark times and kept it alive and kept it going. And these wrestlers often get forgotten about because they wrestled in an era that isn't talked about as much. Okay, it's easy to be a big star when wrestling is seen by millions and millions of people. It's a lot harder to be a big star when only a few million people are watching wrestling.
Right.
So, an example of this would be Dusty Rhodes.
Okay.
He carried wrestling before it became huge. Harley Race would be another example of this. Okay. So even though Harley Race did wrestle during the Hulk Hogan era and even went to the WWE at some point. Okay. John Cena kept wrestling alive during the PG era. And a lot of people would say, well, John Cena was the PG era.
Yeah.
But he didn't cause the PG era. He was just going to work.
Yeah.
He was just showing up, doing what he was told, and he kept wrestling going, even when half the fans booed him out of the arena.
Yeah.
He can't. I mean, that's another thing you got to give him a lot of credit for. Okay, half the fans are booing you, and you're told to still go out there and do your job.
Yeah.
And you can't switch, can't turn heel. Roman had even more booing than Cena, but eventually he was allowed to turn heel.
Yeah.
And it worked out. He got more cheers as a heel than he did as a face.
Yeah.
Okay. But John Cena was told he couldn't change nothing.
Right. Right.
Just go out there and wrestle. Okay.
Yep.
So here's the thing. Even though the ratings went down during John Cena's career, financially the WWE got better. So John Cena appealed to the child audience and he appealed to an international audience.
Yeah.
And he was the big star that kept wrestling going until we got to like the network era.
Right.
And everything.
Right.
And he was still a huge star during the early period of the network era. Speaking of The Rock, he fought against, in the prophecy of The Rock's return.
Yeah.
He fought against John Cena at WrestleMania. So that would be my Mount Rushmore. What about you, Lance?
All right.
We're about to hear some new folks that in the past 10 years and indie people.
Orange Cassidy. No.
I was about to punch you.
Okay. Real quick. I can do this very quick. Ric Flair, Undertaker, Rock, Austin.
Okay, why?
Ric Flair because he's Ric Flair.
Okay, yeah. That one's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah. Rock, I think one of the important things of his run was African-American, Samoan heritage. He was the biggest name in wrestling for a long time, carried the belt several times. To me, it's self-explanatory.
I didn't think about the diversity part of that.
And how quickly he did it. He debuted in 96. He was a champion in 98. I mean,
although I would argue that being a Samoan in professional wrestling is definitely not a strike against you.
No, well, no, it's not.
Being black maybe is, but not.
But how
Samoan.
many Samoans had the run he did?
No, none.
Right,
aside from Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Okay, so Undertaker. I think Undertaker's importance is how that character made you feel.
Yeah.
I think that stood out above anybody else. What he was able to do.
He was revered towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, hell. Whenever I play WWE 2K23 and it's WrestleMania, even though he's retired, the Undertaker still comes back in my game,
Right.
and fights at WrestleMania once a year,
Right,
you know?
right.
And every year I got to decide who is he going to fight this
Right,
year, you know?
Right.
He's been retired for years, and,
yeah.
and I still have the Undertaker come back in my game.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean when that music hit, and he came out with the fog, and it was dark, and he did the lights.
Yeah.
It was just all about how it made you feel.
I'm going to comment on the Undertaker when you're done.
Okay, and then Austin, because the path his career went was tough, was very tough. He was in a company that didn't use him properly. Paul Heyman was there to say, "Hey, come in and say whatever you want." And I really don't think Stone Cold would have happened without that opportunity in ECW.
The Undertaker, by far the best gimmick ever made, and worked. He's definitely been one of my favorite guys to watch. I didn't really care much for the American Badass gimmick.
Yeah, me either.
But the Undertaker gimmick was insane, and I think fans still, he still worked the American Badass gimmick enough that it got over, even though I wasn't a fan of it. But I liked it. I like it more now in hindsight because it was more of him, of himself in that gimmick. And his last match was done as it was done as the American Badass, but it was also kind of like a mold because he still had supernatural powers.
Yeah.
He could teleport behind you. He could shoot out lightning and fire.
Yeah.
There's, talking about clips. Okay. So basically what this video does, it talks about Triple H's career, and then it gets to The Undertaker, and then he describes to non-wrestling fans what The Undertaker is.
Okay.
And now I'm ready to play it.
All right.
Hold on to your suspension of disbelief, because it's about to take a fucking beating.
He's here.
I like turtles.
The Undertaker is a wizard, a satanic magician, and no, I don't know why he's a wrestler. He was part of this cult when he was a little kid. They sacrificed these 3 little girls. Now he's got this creepy guy, Paul, with him. He has this intense relationship with his demon brother, Kane. It's all pretty fucking insane. And add to that, he commands a cult of hundreds of hooded figures.
You know it's fake, right?
What matters is that Undertaker has never been defeated at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels is like, I think I can beat him. He couldn't. Shawn Michaels is like, damn it, I feel like I could really beat him if I just had one more chance, you know? Undertaker says, hey. Undertaker says, I will give you another match at next year's WrestleMania, but only if when you lose, you retire from wrestling forever. Shawn Michaels is like, I don't know if I should do that. What do you think, Triple H? Triple H is like, no, it would be so terrible if you left and never came back. That would be the worst. Oh my God. You should do it. You should do it. Why don't you do it? Don't be a pussy. You should do it. Do it. Do it, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is like, okay, sure. So Shawn Michaels loses to The Undertaker, is permanently retired. Aw, poor Shawn Michaels.
It's my time, and my dick fell off. What? Don't get it wrong, I don't make me soft.
What the fuck?
Drinking champagne, baby.
Oh, boo-hoo, Shawn. You're gonna feel real stupid when I beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'm wasted. Bad. An important thing to remember about Triple H is that he views himself when he looks in the mirror as this warrior knight, Conan destroyer, super badass, unstoppable guy. The fact that he's actually an insecure, cheating, undercutting, manipulative coward, he's kind of blind to. He can't see it. And that's why when The Undertaker beats him, all Triple H can think about is, but I still got some good hits in though, right? And everyone's like, sort of.
Hey, stop acting like you beat me.
Yeah, but I kinda did, sort of.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, but I hit you a bunch of times.
That's not how wrestling works. You can't win, you lost. Admit that you lost.
No.
Fight me again then.
No.
You're not as good as Shawn Michaels. Bitch, I will fight you anywhere. I will fight you on the moon.
It's gonna be a Hell in the Cell match where I'm allowed to use any weapon I want. My sledgehammer. And the referee is gonna be, my best friend, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is like, well, chill it on the best friend. You chill it on the best friend. Triple H is like, you're my best friend. And with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee, access to any weapon he wants in a match that he chose, Triple H loses to The Undertaker. This is the end.
So, I just thought that was a good way to explain The Undertaker to people.
Yeah.
He's an undead wizard. Yeah. And no, we don't know why he's a wrestler.
We don't know why he wrestles, yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else. How about you, Lance?
I think that's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess until next time, see you guys later.
Later. Bye.